Hi. Today's discussion is on the nature and types of planning and planning techniques and tools. In Lesson 1, you have learned that management involves four steps or functions: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Planning involves the setting of direction and goals of an organization, establishing a system that will define the activities of the organization, and formulating a plan to ensure that the system works toward achieving the goals of the organization. Planning is significant because it is the initial task that defines the other management functions. Planning is important because it provides direction. It leads everyone and everything in the organization. It reduces risk of uncertainty, and it also reduces overlapping and wasteful activities. During the planning process, everyone involved are expected to chip in or throw in all their ideas. And so we say that planning helps promote innovative ideas. Planning also facilitates decision making for obvious reasons. And during the planning process, management sets standards that will later on be used to evaluate the performance of the organization. So, planning also establishes standards for controlling purposes. Planning is a continuous process. As circumstances change, strategies may be revised to address changes that could impact the organization. The next part of our discussion is on vision and mission statements. The vision statement describes what the company wants to achieve and where it wants to go in the future. And it also determines the course and direction of the company and identifies which markets, technologies, products, or customers to focus on. On the other hand, the mission statement describes a company's reason for existence. It answers the question why the company exists. Everything in the organization, the strategies, the goods, the services, are supposed to be aligned to the organization's vision, mission, and objectives. But what are the characteristics of good or effectively written statements? Let us go over the characteristics of good or effectively written mission statements. A good or effectively written mission statement identifies the following: the company's products and services, customers' needs that the company seeks to satisfy, the target markets that the company wants to serve, and the approaches to be taken to satisfy customers' needs. The mission statement presents the company's unique identity that distinguishes itself from the competitors. Mission statements can be short. It can also be lengthy. But it would be better to have a mission statement that is short but powerful. We also have characteristics of good or effectively written vision statements. A vision statement should be graphic. It projects to the market the kind of company that the management wants to create and the kind of company it aspires to be. It should be graphic enough to give a clear picture of what the company seeks to achieve and where the company wants to go. It has to be directional. It describes the path where the company wants to go and presents specific plans to move forward in the future. It should lead everyone towards the road to success. It must be focused, very specific, so managers are properly guided on what to do in terms of resources and strategies. It should not cause confusion. It must be flexible, though specific, allows managers to change based on market situations, technological advancements, and customer preferences. A lot of changes happen around us, and it is important that the strategies we have, which are also aligned with the vision, must be flexible enough to embrace these changes. It must be feasible. The vision must be one that is achievable and realistic. It must be desirable, clear on why path is practically sensible and serves the interest of members in the long run. Lastly, the vision statement must be easy to communicate. It must be easy to understand, articulated, and can be simplified into a powerful slogan. This will enable everyone in the organization, and I mean everyone in the company, from the top level to the bottommost level of the organization, to understand the company's vision. On your module are the different vision statements of world-renowned companies. These are very famous companies, so I'm sure you know them. You don't have to do activity 21 now, but you can go over the different vision statements. This will help you understand the different companies more. Next, we go to the different types of plans. There are three main types of plans that a manager uses in devising strategies to achieve company goals. The first are what we call strategic plans. Strategic plans are designed by the top level management, and it addresses the company as a whole. These are broad plans based on the company's vision, mission, and values. Strategic plans are utilized as basis for more specific plans that will enable the company to achieve growth and profitability, boost productivity and return on investment, and improve customer service. So when we talk about strategic plans, they're broad in nature. Then we have tactical plans. Tactical plans are specific plans for specific areas of the company. They translate broader plans into functional goals for each area or department. Tactical plans include budget, resources, and goals with specific deadlines. The third type of plan are operational plans. Specific procedures and processes made by low-level managers are examples of operational plans. Operational plans involve specific events, like for example, marketing campaigns, campus recruitment, and others. This also involve the formulation of ongoing plans that define specific operations of the organization. When we say ongoing plans, this can be in any of the following forms. Policy. This is a set of principles that guide managers in addressing a particular issue. That's why when something happens, we always refer to the policy so that it will be easier for us to judge what to do with that particular issue. Rule, regulation, which describes and regulates the functions of an organization. And the third one is procedure, or the step-by-step process in accomplishing a task or achieving an objective. For us to better understand these three types of plans, let us go over the illustration that I'm going to flash on your screen. So as you can see, these are the different types of plans. They're presented in this hierarchy. So on top, you see strategic planning. Look at the strategic planning decisions. They're broader in nature. They're more general in nature. For example, increase revenue by 10%. This has to be narrowed down to more specific details so that it will be easier for those below to implement, and it will be easier for the company as a whole to achieve. So, how can you increase revenue by 10%? Then, middle managers have to come up with strategies how to possibly increase revenue by 10%. So, let us assume that what they intend to do is to come up with quarterly or semi-annual forecast. So they will try to check, is it possible to increase revenue by 10% at the end of the year by simplifying it into quarterly forecasts or semi-annual forecasts. But it has to be further presented in a more detailed manner. So it's not enough that you implement quarterly or semi-annual forecast. Those below have to be able to come up with strategies to help the organization achieve an increase in revenue by 10%. But how do they do this? Then maybe they can look into increasing sales. So the example given in this presentation is on customer order taking. Maybe they can improve on how they take orders from customers, and by doing so, they will be able to sell more, and they will be able to help the organization achieve an increase in revenue by 10%. So that's how we look at these different types of plans. So let us now continue. Planning, it says in your module, within an organization requires the combination of these three types of plans. Strategic plans are necessary for tactical planning to commence. Tactical plans are used as basis for the formulation of operational plans. Let us now go on to the next portion, which is planning techniques and tools. Planning techniques and tools pertain to the different methods for determining, analyzing, and predicting situations that they will likely occur. There are four common planning techniques and tools. First, we have forecasting. This refers to the use of scientific techniques to predict likelihood of certain events or factors to happen in the future. Forecasting may be qualitative or quantitative in nature. Qualitative forecasting uses opinions or perceptions from experts. On the other hand, quantitative forecasting uses statistical tools and analysis. Which one is better? Quantitative or qualitative? Which must managers use? Qualitative or quantitative? There is really no rule of thumb. Again, it depends on the nature of your business, but it would be best for the organization to consider both. Next is contingency planning, process of identifying alternative courses of action in the event that unforeseen or uncontrollable events take place. An example is provided in your module. It was announced in the news that there's a possibility of an intensity 7 earthquake in Metro Manila based on scientific studies made by FIVOX. All institutions in Metro Manila are required to conduct earthquake drills and to prepare for contingency measures. Of course, it's not easy to predict when an earthquake will happen. In the event the actual earthquake strikes, Managers of Ayala Corporation conducted a meeting and prepared plans A, B, and C. Plans B and C are alternative measures to provide more options in anticipation for events that Plan A may not address. We don't go to battle with only one plan. That one plan may fail. Therefore, we have to come up with several plans just in case. In your personal planning, you also prepare backup plans just in case the original plan will not work. I'm referring to how you plan as an individual. So, same happens in an organization. Next is scenario planning, a long-term version of contingency planning, more detailed and extensive in visualizing the alternative events that may take place. Process of identifying alternative future scenarios which increases an organization's flexibility and preparation for future shocks. The example given in your module is that of Jollibee Foods Corporation. Managers of JFC or Jollibee Foods Corporation wants to venture into new markets or launch new products. They explore multiple futures and perspectives when they map out in detail different scenarios for Jollibee. One overview of a scenario could be if the corporation launches product A in Metro Manila. Advertisements must be released a month prior to launching to excite and entice consumers to purchase on the first day of sale. This is just one scenario, and in reality, there will be numerous to avoid shocks. So, a possible scenario is to initially introduce the product to Metro Manila. But it is also possible for you to consider the scenario of simultaneously offering the product across Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Another scenario that you might want to take into consideration is to launch the product simultaneously in the Philippines as well as in other countries where Jollibee is located. In your personal life, you tend to plan for your future, what course you will take in college and the career path you want to pursue. You have your own if-then situations to give yourself options on what is ahead of you. So, at this point in time, you're probably thinking of what college to go to, what university to go to, what courses to enroll. But of course, surely you don't only have one in mind. You probably have several universities in mind. You probably have several courses in mind, just in case. The last one is benchmarking. This refers to the use of external comparisons to better evaluate current performance and identify possible actions for the future. Benchmarking refers to adopting best practices and incorporating them into the operations of one's organization to improve the cost and effectiveness. For example, a small hotel can adopt the good housekeeping practices of leading hotels in the industry. They can do this by collecting information from published reports, visiting the websites of these hotels, holding interviews with industry experts, and conducting customer feedback surveys. When we say benchmarking, you don't necessarily have to copy exactly the practices of other companies. You simply have to observe what they do best and then check how you can apply that to your company. You can tailor the strategies you have for your organization to the kind of business that you have, to the kind of products and services that you offer, and still be guided by the best in the industry. That is benchmarking. In your personal experience, you also do the same. Like maybe you ask your classmates with excellent performances what their study habits are, and then check on their best practices, and maybe you can try if it's going to apply to you. If not, then maybe you can improve on your existing study habits by comparing it with the best practices that your classmates have. and then improve your study habits on your own. Design that which is applicable to you. That's benchmarking. That ends our lesson. Thank you for attending this session.